Okay, so week 4 of the PVC Olympic Lifting Technique series. This will be the final week in this cycle of drills. We're going to mix things up starting next week. So expect just a few changes, but the same general theme here. So we're working on the snatch, squat snatch specifically today. We're going to do this week's 10-minute warm-up. I'll include a link in the comments. So just go ahead and work your way through that standard 10-minute warm-up for the week. Try the new drills, they're fun. We're going to go 3 cycles through a 20-foot prisoner duck walk, which I'll show you, and then 10 squatting internal rotations. So 3 cycles through those 2 moves. Then we'll go 3 cycles through 10 halting snatch shrugs, and then 10 snatch press to an overhead squat. Then we'll go 3 rounds through a little complex here. With maybe like a minute rest after each round. You'll do 10 reps in a row. You'll do a power snatch and then put the bar or the PVC on your shoulders and then do a snatch balance 10 times with about a minute rest between. And then you'll finish with 35 reps for quality, going for a hang squat snatch. Afterwards, we'll go 10 rounds, kind of as per usual. Every 90 seconds, 1 power snatch, 1 overhead squat, and then 1 full squat snatch, so coming down from the floor. So may want to go a little bit light on that, and then you can progressively build every few rounds if you're feeling good. Okay, so let's go through, review the moves, and get you working on some technique. Okay, so for this first part, I'm going to actually do it out of order. I'm going to do the squatting internal rotations first, just because it serves as a nice way to warm up the ankles and your hips and knees a little bit before doing the duck walk. But maybe just as like a basic thing, since I haven't done the 10-minute warm-up, go ahead and start with that 10-minute warm-up. But when you get here, we're just going to get down into a squat and make sure it feels pretty comfortable. I like to do the bounce. I think it's a nice way to open things up and make the body just a little bit more receptive to this stuff without a whole lot of pretense. So once you're feeling ready, the squatting internal rotations are basically this. You're going to try and keep 1 foot flat, so this side will be flat, and I'm going to try and internally rotate at the hip so that my knee can touch the ground. It may be difficult to see on the camera here, but the whole inside part of my right foot is still in contact with the floor. So I'm not rotating it up so that my heel pops up. I'm just kind of collapsing my foot so that the knee comes down. Then we'll pop up and we'll go to the other side. Just back and forth. If you're unable to go all the way to the floor, no big deal, but it might be something where you put a book down so that you can measure your progress over time. So maybe today requires 2 dictionaries. I don't know why you would have 2 dictionaries, but you want to be really thorough, I guess. Give yourself a target so that you can measure your internal rotation progress. Should be something that gets closer to the ground over time. So we'll get 10 of those, and then we're going to do the prisoner duck walk. So all we're looking to do here is put your hands up on your head, maybe as you could imagine a prisoner would look like, and we're going to try and walk in this duck walk. Take your time, doesn't have to be anything fast, but the hands over the head are going to require a more upright posture. And we're just doing our best to transfer our weight back and forth, and we're going to walk about 20 total feet. So a little bit more balance involved when the hands are above your head like this. Do your best to keep it smooth. Obviously, if this presents a challenge to go hands-free, you can always continue to use your hands here. Be kind to your knees and your ankles. If you give them time, they will adapt to this, and this will feel, therapeutic even. So don't rush it if it doesn't feel ready to go with the hands above your head. But we're going to try and walk around, keeping it as smooth as you can for about 20 feet, and you're going to go through those 2 moves 3 rounds. Then we're going to move on to some PVC work. We're going to do a halting snatch shrug. So we're going to get set up with our feet underneath our hips. Let's adopt a hook grip, so thumb goes down first. Wrap the rest of your fingers around it. And we're going to get set right at your shins. So take a second to make sure everything feels nice and solid. And this will be a good thing to review maybe on some video for yourself. But we're going to do a halting snatch shrug. So what that means is you're going to start at the shins. We're going to come up just past the knees and halt or pause. We're going to push the knees forward and kind of scoop ourselves into this upright posture, still with knees bent, and we'll halt here, and then get an aggressive shrug. So we're halting at the knees, halting at the upper part of the thigh, and then going for a very vertical, aggressive shrug. So again, I get set at the shins, make sure everything's nice and tight, come up to the knees, scoop up the thighs, boom, aggressive shrug. As you go through these drills, don't just go through the motions mindlessly here. We want to take inventory. This is only PVC, so one of the benefits, like we've talked about, is you have to generate a lot of your own tension. You're not resisting an outside load and just kind of doing it as a reaction. This is something where you're having to consciously decide, okay, I'm going to be tight, I'm going to be, extended in these positions. So just pay some attention to that as you're going through. After we get 10 of the halting snatch shrugs, we're going to do 10 of a snatch press to an overhead squat. If you've been doing these series, this should be review, but we'll check it out. So this time our feet are a little bit wider now in a squat stance. The PVC is up on my shoulders. I still have the same grip that I had for the previous exercise, but what we're going to do now, big breath in, you're going to squeeze your belly, squeeze your butt, and you're basically pressing yourself out from underneath this until you get to a full depth overhead squat, and then you're going to stand. And stand. Same thing, the tension here is up to you, but we want to be as tight as you can and aware of all the parts of your body that might be losing tension as you approach the bottom of the squat, and then try and regain that as you go. Once again, really good exercise to the video, and then check your progress. Especially at the bottom, you may notice things happening, like as we get close to the bottom, things start rounding over. Maybe the bar even comes further forward. You can't even feel it until you see it on the video, and you're able to make some progress based on that. So really good tool for feedback there. So 3 rounds through those 2 movements back to back. Then the next one, we're going to go for a power snatch plus a snatch balance, little complex here. So once again, feet underneath the hips. We're going to get set up at our standard snatch setup. So right at the shins. This time we're going to come up nice and smooth, no halting. We're going to stick a good power snatch. So I'm catching in this overhead position, maybe like a quarter to almost a half squat, wherever feels good. And then we're going to stand up, bring the bar to your shoulders, reset the feet underneath your hips, and we're going to do basically like the press to an overhead squat, but it's more dynamic, more explosive. We're just going to give a little bit of a fall, and then we're going to punch our arms into an overhead squat and reset. So it's a speed drill, it's a dropping drill, getting awareness of how you're landing, a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So let's do it again. Feet are underneath the hips, set up at the shins. I'm going to do a power snatch. Stand up, bar goes to the shoulder, feet come back in, so we have to work on the footwork again. And I get everything tight. And stand. So that was 2 repetitions. We'll go through 10 total. Power snatch, snatch balance. Power snatch, snatch balance. 10 times through. You'll rest for about a minute, and then we'll go for a total of 3 rounds. After all these pieces, we're going to try and log 35 quality reps in a hang squat snatch. So just kind of connecting the pull that we've worked on all these snatch drills, and then the overhead squat position into one, hopefully, pretty looking move. So feet underneath the hips. We have our snatch grip. I want you to get set up somewhere down the thigh, maybe an inch or 2 above the knees. And from here, we're going to scoop up, go for the full move. Probably the most important to review on the video, just to make sure that everything's looking sharp, everything's looking crispy as you go. But I'll do a few of these. Get set up at the shins, everything's tight. And stand. One real important thing to note, if you watch your feet from the side, I know I struggle with this, especially with PVC. Ideally, as you go through this motion, the feet don't really jump forward or back, you just kind of fall straight down. So do my best here. I can give myself a target to stay on, so I have a line going right through my feet here. But I'll get set. Oh, we're gonna need a hang. So set in a hang position. I can look down, and it looks like the line is still underneath my feet. So a good, point of performance to try and focus on to make improvements during the session. So only count the good reps. 35 total. You can break this into like sets of 3 to 5. Excuse me. Final piece, if you're game for it and if you have access to a barbell, we're gonna go every 90 seconds for 10 rounds. You're gonna do 1 power snatch, followed by 1 overhead squat, and followed by a full squat snatch. So what that would look like with a bar, you get set up at the shins, or if you have bumpers, the bar will be on the ground. So we're gonna get set here. Power snatch, overhead squat, then we'll reset with the feet back underneath the hips. Full squat snatch. That would be 1 round. You're gonna do a total of 10 of those. Did it get you breathing? I can feel it right now as I'm trying to talk and demonstrate at the same time. So enjoy it. Hopefully you're able to find a training space that keeps you cool. And yeah, like I said, prepare for next week. We're gonna make a few tweaks to it and start a new cycle. Enjoy.